All right, fire me up. This is probably, dude, this could easily be the most valuable podcast I've done of all time, specifically because you guys are both, I mean, all three of us are, but you guys are way bigger than me. Social media monsters. You guys have both built multi-million follower personal brands. You've used it, you've leveraged it incredibly well to build your own businesses, to also build businesses that bring in cash on the side. So we're here. You guys have seen both of them before, but James from the School of Hard Knocks and then Grant Mitt. And I mean, how many followers do we think we have combined in this room?
Well, James has all of them.
Yeah. What's School of Hard Knocks at right now?
We got 16 million collectively right now.
So there's probably like 20 amongst everyone here.
Yeah.
Or maybe like, what do you have? Like, you're probably like 2 combined?
I have over 1 million combined, yeah.
But the thing is though, like, incredibly niche followers, right? Like, it's easy to get millions of followers on TikTok doing dances and following trends.
Right.
Like I feel like if you're honestly, if you're a person in the country right now in the United States and you're interested in business whatsoever, they've seen one of our faces. Probably mostly James.
Yeah.
But they've seen one of our faces before. So yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I've both done like individual pods with you guys. So I'm excited to chop it up, and we're just going to talk about, really, I think personal branding is quite possibly the most valuable skill of this day and age. And I think a couple years ago, people were probably saying stuff like, oh, social media is not a long-term thing and it's a waste of time. And I think it's probably the only thing that is going to be relevant in a couple of years, or only thing that can't be replaced by AI. So I'm just curious. I want to get a little background on both you guys for everyone that might be new here. James, how did you start, bro? What was your first video on social media in general, business or not?
Well, first of all, appreciate you having us on, brother. And I wanted to start off by kind of adding on to that, because I think there's a lot of value in what you said about the personal branding and just the era that we're kind of going into. What was happening is one of the greatest wealth transfers of all time is going from the old traditional media to like the new media, to where everybody in here, everybody watching is becoming their own network. You look at companies like CNN, Time Magazine, they're being put up for sale for hundreds of millions of dollars less than they were valued at even a couple years ago. Why? Because like where attention goes, revenue flows. And you're seeing a huge gravitation from trust in that media, people wanting to consume content, consume media through those mechanisms, to that on-demand content, to like social media, right? All of the platforms that are popping right now. But, the way that I kind of got into it was 2019, 2020 was when I initially really discovered TikTok. And I saw it, where that was the platform that you could have 100 followers and you could put out one piece of content and 800,000 people could see it overnight. And there really wasn't anything ever like that before, outside of pumping money into like paid ads. But like the ability to like freely market yourself, your product, your service, like I'd never, there was nothing ever like that before. And so I just grew, a personal TikTok channel from 0 to 800,000 followers during COVID.
Personal one.
Yeah, that was a personal channel. Like most people don't even realize that, but like before Hard Knocks, I went from 0 to 800,000 followers in about 10 months. And I just learned so much about like virality, the algorithm. So that was like the one skill set that I always had, above anything else. And really the only thing that I've learned so much about business, but really my superpower is like, you could give me any concept and I could take an account from 0 to hundreds of thousands of followers like instantly. Like I know so much about, the algorithms and how to like really go viral and crack the code on that. But ultimately ended up starting the School of Hard Knocks. I was a freshman at the University of Texas, had the passion for business. Creator economy at the time was a $250 billion industry. So I was like, man, let me go get a piece of the pie. So started it with my brother and childhood friend from the DC area. And it initially started out with just the 3 of us making the content ourselves. But we're like, dude, nobody gives a shit about 3 young 20-year-old kids making business content. We could really pivot to where we're going to find and seek out those industry experts that have 20, 30, 40, 50 years of experience to be able to be the medium and the bridge to everybody around the world, to the top 1% of people. And before we knew it, we were just so consistent, and just as we grew, didn't dilute the brand, which enabled us to, interview and connect with people like Shaquille O'Neal, Tom Cruise, Will Smith. We've done 27 billionaires now, like Mark Cuban, Reid Hoffman, Michael Rubin, founders of some of the biggest people in the world, some of the richest people in the Middle East, and grew it into, a multi-million-dollar business.
Let's go. Give us, before Grant goes, real quick, give us like a 1 to 2 minute masterclass for anyone who wants to do content, just like some basic principles of how to make a video go viral. I see so many people trying, they just have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And without knowing like the proper framework for a good video or a viral worthy video, you're kind of just shooting blanks.
100%. First things first is I always like to say that going viral is like hitting the lottery, but creating consistent content is like investing in your future. The reason why I say that is people don't realize this. I posted 300 times on the School of Hard Knocks. Guess how many followers I had? When I posted 300 times, guess how many followers I had?
I don't know, like 100?
I had 50 followers. How many people do you know would have posted 300 times with 50 followers?
I posted 742 times.
But you get it. But 99.9% of people are not going to keep posting after that. You got to be like a little bit crazy. But again, having that skill from, you know, the content creation from building the personal brand was really able to take that into the School of Hard Knocks, knowing that it's like, hey, the more consistent you are about posting, you know, a particular type of content, eventually the algorithm, the platform, it recognizes you as an authority and that type and that niche of content, right? So, you know, if you're scatterbrained and you're posting fitness today and you know, beauty content tomorrow and business content the next day, it's going to be hard for the algorithm to really kind of put you into what type of niche that you ultimately should be in. Now, I say that, right? A lot of people recommend, you know, trying different things, which I do agree to a certain extent. You should. That's what we did. Like, interviews was not the first type of content that we were making business-wise. We probably did 10 other types of content in the business niche before we found interviews. But that's why I always like to say, there's a big debate about should it be quantity or quality focus. Quantity breeds quality. The more you post, the more data that gives you to tell you, hey, you need to double down on this, triple down on that, 10x that. And once you kind of find that winning formula, in our case with the interviews, you go all in, but you make a lot of pivots along the way. Damon John has a great saying that pioneers get slaughtered and settlers prosper. So just like with any type of business, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, everybody gets stuck and they're like, I don't know what to post. They take 4 weeks off because they run out of content ideas. Dude, go search your niche. Go find the 100 most viral videos within the last 30 or 60 days. Go find what those people are doing. What are those creators? Why are they going viral? Go find the common threads and emulate. Like, don't copy verbatim, but like add your own originality, add your own creativity to those viral videos. And that's all you need to do right there. Like, I remember on the personal brand, when I went from 0 to 800K, dude, I had like the next 6 months, 3 posts a day for 6 months already mapped out in my notes, because I would spend time being an intentional doom scroller, meaning like a lot of people, they just like are the zombie apocalypse. They just scroll. But like, I would actually like spend time, you know, because on that account, it wasn't business related, but I was like finding creators that were similar in my niche and seeing, hey, what are they doing? Oh, this one popped. I'm going to make a video kind of similar to that, but add my own twist. So that's what it is, right? So it's consistency, not getting discouraged what anybody else thinks. Cause you know how people, man, they get worried about their stuff getting sent in a group chat. I can speak for probably all 3 of us. I probably got sent in hundreds of group chats from people back home.
What is this fucking James dude doing, bro? Hella cringy.
Exactly.
You know, like,
they did not believe it.
Yeah.
No, but that's anybody, man. Exactly.
Right.
That's what it is. And that's why people, man, the minute that they get wind of like that's what's kind of going on behind their back, then people, you know, they give up like right there. That's the real killer right there. So I think if you can kind of get through that, and you know, we can dive in. And one last thing I'll add on that, because you ultimately brought up like the formula for going viral. So, you know, what to keep in mind is that, you know, first 3 seconds is the most important part of the video. Like, hook is absolutely everything, right? In my case, when I'm doing interviews, you know, it's generally a lot of the time it's, excuse me, sir, walking up to an individual that just looks greasy, like they look like they're dripping with money, or they're in the Lamborghini or Rolls Royce. So there's the hook right there. Or if I'm not doing a walk up, it's like, who am I here with today? And it's like a big celebrity. Or it could be, what was the most you made in a year? And he drops like 500 million. Like, that's the hook right there. But if you're like a talking head, it's like, get in that habit of like, you know, those first 3 to 5 seconds, it needs to be a pattern interrupt. Again, I think there was a stat that came out that people scroll through enough content that's like tall as like the Empire State Building in a day, or that, or like the Statue of Liberty. Like, that's how much people scroll.
It's on be your robot. So, just go.
Robot.
Go.
So
you probably scroll 10 videos before you stop on one.
So you got to have a pattern interrupt, right? You got to say something shockingly controversial or just something bold. It's going to like really like get people to stop, you know, and give them a reason to watch your content. Like, I have a content agency. It's one of our businesses. It does 7 figures a year, and where we do done for you content for like a lot of top entrepreneurs all over the country, people in real estate, you know, tanning salon franchises, lawyers, like a whole bunch of people. And one of the biggest things that I instill in them is stop making the assumption that people know who you are.
Or care about you.
Dude, exactly, bro. Like people saying, as you guys, I see people starting videos like, as you guys know, we just closed that real estate deal. It's like, no, they don't know, bro.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Like, give them a reason to actually care. Like say something, you know what I mean? So I think that's really important as well. And then last thing is curiosity.
Yeah.
You got to, because watch time is the only metric that matters. You got to invoke like some sort of like retention. You know what I mean? It's the curiosity gap. Give them a reason to actually want to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the studying part's really interesting because I don't do that at all. I'm curious because you're actually one of the first guys that I saw posting business content on social media.
Yeah.
You and Alex, and I was like, fuck, I got to start doing this too, right? And so I don't ever study or look at other people's videos. I don't think I've ever ripped off a video and tried to make it my own. Maybe I should. I probably should, honestly. I'm curious if you do or if you've seen that work.
So actually what's helped me is if you go look at my following, like anyone that I'm following for the most part, unless it's like LeBron or Drake, I'm either friends with them, and if I do, a lot of times like on their business content, like yours I don't, but a lot of these big business guys I have them muted, not because I don't support them, but because it kind of like kills my creativity. And so like I learn and I come up with ideas, for example, on my phone. Every time I have an idea, I pull up my notes section, I just type it in there real quick. And then if I'm coaching someone or if I'm talking to my employees or if in the middle of a deal or I'm trying to figure out and solve a problem, it's just constantly creating ideas. And so I would say, and another thing is just being around really, really smart people. Like for example, when you and I go to dinner, we all link up, we just come up with so much different ideas.
Yeah, everyone's fired up for like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Exactly, right? You'll say something or I'll say something or someone will say something that like sticks with you and then you come up with this next big idea with your business.
And then how did you start? What was your first piece of content ever? Did you start with business videos? And did you start making content after you made a decent amount of money or was it at the beginning?
So I felt like I had to do something first. So my first business started really taking off and doing well. And Gary Vee was going viral at the time talking about, you need to be on TikTok, you need to be on TikTok. And I still remember missing Twitter when Twitter blew up, but we were also little kids, but I was still thinking about like, man, this is crazy. So I just started making videos in my car and I actually went back and looked at some of them and it was just so bad. Like the advice was good.
Yeah, but back then those were good though. Because the baseline for quality and the competitiveness of social media was so easy back then. Dude, you didn't need a hook back then.
But this is such a good point that you brought up because like, you know, like I look at it in like if I go back and look at my old YouTube videos, like dude, they're cursed. I don't even want to go see them. Yeah. But that's the whole point is like when you start, like where you're making content today is going to be completely different and levels ahead of where you were when you first started. And that's like the beautiful thing about it is you get so much better over time. Like people just need to start.
You just got to make 100 videos, like, and even more, like just make it continuously. But what's cool is like what James is hitting on is the algorithm will give you the data and the feedback to tell you what works and what doesn't. I always tell people like this when they're starting a company is like the people who always win go the fastest because 2 hours of doing something, actually doing it is better than 3 months of hypothesis. Even if we all sit in the room and we're genius business people and we know what we're doing, we've had all this experience, we'll have a good insight, but we never know until it actually hits the market. And it's interesting seeing how people respond to you. James could say the exact same thing that I say and it couldn't work. Or I could copy everything that James doing. I could go interview people and people go, I don't like the way Grant says that. I like that James guy better. So when you're authentic and then you hit the market, then you get real feedback and then you can scale what really works.
I like this. I like the speed aspect. I do think the fast guy will always beat the smart guy. You know, like there's people on social media that you guys have probably seen them before that shit talk me, and they're smart guys. And they're like, dude, the things that this Lucas...
They'll never build anything.
They're like, yeah, the things that this Lucas guy's saying are just flawed. Like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't work that way. Well, it's working, right? Like, exactly. and it's working better and better, right? And it's because I'm just going so fast. Same with you guys. You just go. And there's always going to be maybe some traditionally intelligent people who would score high on an IQ test that just won't ever be that successful because they don't move and act fast. And they're not willing to fail.
They always say, don't be addicted to education and allergic to execution.
Yeah. 100%. I'm curious what you guys, we were kind of talking about this a little before the pod, but I'm curious about what you guys think of flexing on social media these days, because I've always had a mindset of like, the nice things are going to come. I don't want to be looked at as, I feel like these days, if you show really nice cars and penthouse and watches and all these things, and you make that the center of attention, I feel like that dilutes your personal brand, because people are going to see that and they're automatically going to assume this guy's trying to sell me something. He's trying to sell a course, whatever. But I feel like social media in a lot of ways is so competitive these days. I mean, you were kind of just touching on it right there, that you need something flashy to make people want to listen, right? Like, you start your video off with, how much money have you made? Walking up to their supercar, right? If you were just, I bet like you could pull every one of your videos that has done well and then pull the ones that have not done well. If you tally up whether or not they had a sick car in the first 3 seconds, I bet it would be a no-brainer, right? That those do way better. So I almost wonder if these days you almost need to show the watch or have a sick car, even if you're not trying to sell a course or anything, even if you're really just trying to help and teach people, because immediately people are going to think, well, why should I listen to you?
One thing, because I know you have a lot to say about this probably, is one thing I want to say that's interesting about why I think James' content and School of Hard Knocks did so well and what made it different is that everyone was interviewing all of the main entrepreneurs that we know, like Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, and they're all great.
Wes Watson,
they have great stuff.
Like
what I think not only was like the way they interviewed and them being young and your questions, but I think more than anything, it was like people that you could tell had money, but they've never seen Grant Cardone before. They've never seen Alex Hormozy. They've never seen anybody. They're just like,
it's an unknown guy. Like, what does this guy have to say?
It's some random guy.
He sold an HVAC company for $200 million.
Yeah, it's like just some random stuff like, $700 million. And he's like in Highland Park Village. And so you're like, wait, who the hell is this guy? Because when you say something like that, you're like, wait, you made how much? And you've never seen him. And so their information and their perspectives are so unique and fresh. They're not these same repetitive things that every single person says.
It's such a good point, and we'll touch on that. But like you said, and I talk about this a lot with the team and everybody, right? Because it's like we recently interviewed Tom Brady in Chicago, and it's like where do you go from there? Because it sets like the standard, it sets the expectation a lot higher. But I think the reason why people really fell in love with like our content was because of that reason right there. Yes, like I've done the Gary V's, the Grant Cardones, like all those guys for sure. But I always tell people like, dude, my favorite people and the best advice that I've ever gotten are from the people that people would have no idea who they are if I said their name.
Give me your top three.
Or
I'll let you finish that thought first, but I'm very curious.
For sure. So, but I think that's a great point. And I tell my team this all the time. As much as I'm going to keep on going into the line, like we've got some really big celebrities like lined up when we get back from Europe. I'm going to keep on doing those people, but I'm still going to spend, the 4 hours out in Palm Beach with nothing set up and just going to cold approach, the sneaky billionaires out there, or go to Beverly Hills and do the exact same thing. Because that's why people followed us. That's a mistake, right? Is like, keep the main thing the main thing. Like, yes, like I'll tell you what, I've gotten more shit from starting to interview like the bigger people. Oh, we didn't follow you for this. Oh, athletes, what do they do? And it's like we fucking interviewed Jaylen Brown. He's an NBA Finals MVP. He's the second highest paid player in the NBA, and it's like, this guy's so successful, and people like, they're not messing with it. So you got to also like remember that, right? So I think that is definitely like a great point. Like people, they love that bit, and a lot of those guys, like they're not flashy. Like you said, like the $700 million oil and gas guy in Highland Park, and he's got like the t-shirt and jeans on. Top 3 interviews. So from a celebrity standpoint, my favorite celebrity I ever interviewed is Will Smith, hands down. Really? His energy was so good, and he was genuinely like such a nice guy to my team and I. Obviously, Tom Cruise was super dope because it was his idea to do the interview with us.
Oh, he hit you up?
Paramount did. And I asked Paramount, I was like, so, Tom Cruise has the movie coming out, right? He's doing, Jimmy Fallon, People Magazine, and then School of Hard Knocks. I think he did one of I think it is, but apparently, I guess like his nephew had put him onto our channel like a year ago. And so when it came time to kind of promote Mission Impossible,
who's watching.
You never know who's watching.
So
seriously.
Crazy.
So, but I would say Will Smith was definitely my favorite celebrity interview. And then my other 2 ones that I really liked a lot I'll give you like 3 quick ones. There's a gentleman, Billy Ray Taylor. He was an executive at Goodyear Tire. It's like a $10+ billion company, and big guy in Houston. And he's 59. I asked him, what advice would you give to your younger self? And he said this kind of quote to me. He said, "If a bird lands on a branch, does the bird trust the branch or does it trust its wings?" And the clue, I've seen many birds land on branches, but what I've never seen is the branch break and the bird fall and die. Trust your wings. Yeah. So I like that one a lot. I love that one. Other guy, Tony Stevens, Highland Park gentleman, insurance and investments is what he was in. And same question, advice to younger self. He pulls out like a measuring tape out of his car and he goes, "This strip here is from 1 to 100. The average female lives age 81, average male age 75. So he ripped the measuring tape at 75. So he's got 0 to 75. And he goes, I look real young. You may think I'm 27, but I'm really a 59. So I put my thumb here on 59 and he rips it. So all he's got is from 59 to 75. And he's like, this is all I have left. And he's talking about how like you can have one bad sickness or one bad accident and it's like gone. And so it's like, living life on steroids, like living it to the fullest.
Dude, to bounce off that real quick, I think, so you guys are both in Outliers, right? I don't know if you guys have met Colin yet. Maybe I shouldn't even be mentioning his story, but there's a guy in Outliers who was never really like an entrepreneur, and he had a life-threatening accident 2.5 years ago, I think, when he was 22. Never had built a business before, I'm pretty sure. Never had really made money as an entrepreneur. Had a life-threatening accident, and he was like, fuck, I got to do something with my life. Started a construction company. It's the fastest growing construction company in the country. He's got over 200 employees. Crazy. So sometimes it does really take realizing that like, fuck, my time actually is limited. I got to get up and do something now. And the sooner you can realize that, the better. So I actually think a lot of times when you go through a life-changing experience like that, it's probably like the best thing that could ever happen to you.
100%.
Hopefully you don't learn it as late as, some people do.
Dude, yeah. I mean, like my brother, for example, he had 2 heart surgeries in the last like year, you know what I mean? Man. So, and it's like, man, like that shit'll put life in perspective for you, and really like want to like make the most of the time that you have here. Yeah. So yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
How do you tell when you just fucking sit on the street for 4 hours or in your car, hot ass Houston, like just on the side of the road? How do you tell when someone's got money?
Man, they just got that aura. You know what I mean? And rich is loud and wealthy whispers. So
is it like the way they walk though? Like I feel like it's the way they walk.
Sometimes they have that look. I mean, you guys all know. I mean, like money stays in shape. Like if you see like an older guy that's like he's in great shape, it's like chances are like there's I've seen a physical correlation. I've definitely seen the correlation of physical fitness to financial success. Now, not all the time, right? Like I've met billionaires that like are they look like a bag of potatoes. Yeah. But so sometimes you don't know. And it's also like, it also depends where you are, right? Like I'll never forget, I was in San Francisco and, there was a lot of love in San Francisco and a bunch of people that love the content. And the one thing that they said is, hey, just so you know, the people out here are not the people that you would ever expect to have the money. I mean, take a guy like Bill Gates. Like if you didn't know his face, like I would never walk up to Bill Gates.
You mean like a Miami billionaire versus San Francisco billionaire?
Yes, absolutely, man. I mean, think about the average tech dude, they dress super casual. So that's the thing. And like when I'm in Miami, like I don't even want to, film in like Miami. I like to go up to like Palm Beach. Like you were talking about like kind of like sometimes you need the car, but dude, like I would rather like interview like the old guy coming out of the coffee shop that like as opposed to like the young guy in like the car. And I'm not discrediting like the young guy that built his wealth. I mean, I'm definitely new money. Like I've made a lot of money off social media and whatnot. But just in terms of like the people that I want to like have conversations with that I think really pop and people are more receptive to, it's like that type of people right there. So
the one thing I've noticed in the last like year, I want to hear y'all's thoughts too, is that authenticity is winning the most in social media. Because when we first really all blew up, that was when hyper edits and Flash was really working. But to kind of talk to your question earlier, is I think people are kind of starting to get overstimulated to flashy stuff. And so like there's a lot of people that do it the right way where they're leading with substance every day and they also have a nice car. That works. Yeah. But then the people that are leading with this, they have to keep getting another car and another car and another car.
Yep.
And value always wins long run. And so when I think about your best interviews, and a lot of times like I'll see your best performing videos and I can see for myself, like my best performing content is it's just leading with so much value. And the one thing that I always tell people, and then I always try to remind myself, is would a stranger that doesn't know who you are, would they see this, love it, and want to share it with their friends? And if the answer is no, you probably shouldn't post it. And the mistake that people make with content and in business is they go talk to the friends that love them, their mom, their brothers, their sisters, and they do have some type of opinion. It is maybe intriguing to hear it, but what would someone that doesn't care about you, not like, would they lose their mind if you won the lotto, and would they feel bad for weeks and weeks and weeks if you die? If the answer is no, then they're probably, it's an interesting person you get insight from. And so, when you lead with that, it's like the hook is the key. Like, you're selling them on why they should listen. Then the next 30 seconds is selling them why should they engage. And then your this authenticity and your energy is selling them on why they should follow you and why they should share it with a friend.
It's so interesting, like, yeah, which videos end up popping off. It's never, I don't know about you guys, but it's never the ones I expect. Very rarely am I like for example, like the method videos. You guys know those videos that I used to make? Whenever I ask any of the young founders that I meet, because I'm always curious. Like, if I get on the phone with someone for Outliers, if it's just like a consulting call, I'm like, yo, what was the first video of mine you ever saw? It was the top of funnel videos, right? So I think there's something to be said, though, about you can make your niche videos that are like, let's say you're talking about, this one-on-one call you had with a billionaire the other day. Like, the odds that video pops off, not crazy high, right? Because it's so niche and not that many people even realize the value of that, right? Maybe you get a couple thousand views on that, but that's still just as valuable, if not more valuable, than a video that gets 1 million views. But I think, in my opinion, what I've seen is you need both, right? Like, I have my niche videos, and then I have like the fucking method videos or talking to girls or stuff like that, that'll pop off because it has such a large TAM, total addressable market, just like a normal business product. And so, I don't know about you guys, but I try and balance that. I try and do, like, I don't love making videos about talking to girls or how to deal with disrespect. I just want to make business videos, but I need to balance that in order to hit everybody. And then they get into the ecosystem. They're like, okay, who is this guy? This guy's funny, whatever. And then they see the business video, and that's why they end up following. Do you guys have any sort of strategy like that at all? Or?
Well, I think you brought up a great point, and touching on like what he was talking about, like the authenticity, I think especially for like people trying to build personal brands is like super important. Like, I think you've done a really good job about like, you show the highs and the lows. You've talked about taking out a loan or taking on investors, like the actual like transparency like behind that, I think actually creates a lot of trust. And it's funny, I was just interviewing Will Ahmed. He's the founder of Whoop. They had a $3.6 billion valuation. And, one of the things that I was asking, I was like, it was like, if you could go back and give yourself advice when you were selling yourself to investors. And he said, the number one thing that I would have told myself is, you actually gain credibility by being honest and transparent with the investors of like where you're lacking. And I think that even like through like when you're making your content, to your point, the initial point about like, do you need to like flex and whatnot? Like, by all means, like if you're genuinely making money and you like have the means to like go and do that, like absolutely, like you can do it to an extent. I was just with Eddie Malouf, who's probably one of like the best internet marketers like of our generation. He owns Bad Marketing. He's done over $1 billion in revenue for all of his clients, and he's absolutely killing it. Savage entrepreneur in Atlanta. And like, because we started to recently run like paid ads. Mind you, I still don't even know how to run a paid ads. I don't even want to learn. Like, I'm so big on just like focus and just like having the other people in, because like that's what's enabled us to just grow. But we've got like a great team of like media buyers, and our ads have just been printing, like they've been absolutely crushing. And I was asking Eddie, because Eddie's like,
for the group, right?
This is like for like recently, like the high ticket that we had launched.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I was like asking him, it's like, Eddie, my thing is like with like the paid ads is, because I've never been a paid ads guy. I don't want to turn into like one of those like guru guys. Because when you start to run the paid ads, that's how you kind of start to get that rep. And he was talking about, well, look, as long as you're doing it in a way that doesn't like, you're not like being like that like flashy guy. Like in his instance, right? Like Eddie Malouf has like Ferrari, Lamborghini, right? And clean money. Like he doesn't sell bullshit. Like he's a legit internet marketer. He's incredible at what he does. And he's saying like, you can do it. He said, you can show it once, you show that you've done it, but then kill it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like with the people, when you just like milk it, and it's like, people are just like, all right, dude, we get it. You know what I mean?
100%.
And then you kind of get to that, you know, rep. But the authenticity part of thing is everything. And I'm sure you could probably relate to the Will Ahmed thing, because I know that you've kind of been in that process recently. But when he told me that, I was surprised, because normally people think that you got to be like this perfect polished person. You got everything figured out. But if you go and lead and it's like, hey, we're doing really well at this, but to be honest, we're lacking a little bit here, you know, and if you lead with that credibility, then I think it makes people more, it's like, okay, hey, you're being honest. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot of value there.
It's so interesting. I don't know. I might have told you this at dinner the other day. I have this friend, probably the smartest guy I know, I think. He is also the most confident guy. He's like this, you know, short little Indian dude. He's the most confident and intelligent guy I know. I've never seen anybody sell like this guy before. He recently joined this startup. I don't know the exact number. I think he helped them raise like 30 to 40 million at a $300 million valuation. Pretty sure it's the fastest growing hardware startup in Silicon Valley. And we were hanging out the other day and he goes, yeah, I just raised like 30 million, whatever. And it wasn't in like a cocky way or anything. I was asking him questions because I'm so excited to talk to this guy about what he's doing. And he mentioned he just raised like this, you know, $300 million valuation. And I go, can you walk me through that real quick? Like, what was that process like? This was back when I was raising money and I just could not get bites from any VCs. Like, just no. They're like, you're a cool dude. We really like you. Let's stay in touch. Won't give me a chance, right? I was pitching completely wrong. I was pitching like, this is a lock and this is going to work. And I believe in this because the truth is I really do. Like, I'm going to make it work, right? But I then listened to how he pitched these VCs. He says, so I called in this one massive VC. It might've been A16 or one of the big ones, Sequoia maybe. Calls him into his office. And he goes, so I'm pitching them, you know, I'm telling them about the business, I'm showing them the product. And, you know, I told them there's like a 95% chance we're going to fail. And then, you know, and then they're asking me some more questions about this. And I go, wait a minute, pause for a second. He's talking so fast. I'm like, you just said you told them there was a 95% chance that you were going to fail? And he goes, oh, at least. And I'm like, walk me through. It's like one of those movie scenes where they're like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, walk me through that for a second. You had a VC come into your office. You told them there's an almost certain chance that you're going to fail. And they invested in you? He goes, yeah, they wrote me like a $30 million check on the spot. They filled our whole round. I go, how does that make sense? And he goes, it shows conviction. And I'm like, damn, okay, that completely changed my mind because I always thought, you know, you want to come in there. Like, he's still extremely confident. But the way he pitched it was like, yeah, there's a very low chance we succeed, but if we do succeed, it's going to be the biggest startup of the year. And I think they just respected that honesty, and they could tell that he was sharp enough to understand what he was, you know, the undertaking that he's doing. But at the same time, it's like, we're willing to take that bet. And I think you're absolutely right. I think, you know, at the end of the day, business is risky and there's a million ways stuff could go wrong. But if they believe in you as a person, and they don't think that you're a nut job and you're just out of your mind, then, you know, you can really convince anybody of anything.
If you're authentic and you stick to your principles and you're leading with value every day, I mean, think about like the tsunami effect that occurs. Like, we've seen it with your content the most in the last year. Just like when we seen the Roll Compound, I was like, yeah, we knew that would happen. I mean, because how focused and how detailed and how good and how calculated. And a lot of people, they only see James. They don't know like your two co-founders who are geniuses also. And I mean, it's like everything happens for a reason. Did y'all see Hormozi with the book launch?
Yeah.
That's insane.
But
do you guys know how much he made?
I think like almost $80 million. Wow. But I mean, think about, he put so much goodwill out there that it was just natural for that to come back. And, you know, you don't always have to get your return the first year you're making content or even the fifth. It may be 30 years from now, and it may be one connection. I mean, think about this, like how we all met. I think I commented, you had like 20,000 followers on School of Hard Knocks. Like, they just went viral. I had like 30 or 40,000.
Oh, it was way back then, you guys?
Yeah, on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, y'all are, because I was like, this looks like Austin. I said, yo, let's connect. We went to Terry Black's, we met, and then we started making content together. And then you ended up connecting me with you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Think about, now I've connected you with Michael and a bunch of other people, and you've connected with people. So you never know, like, one connection between one of us could be like 3 layers back, maybe a reason someone makes $1 billion.
Yeah. No, and it's crazy to touch on that real quick for everyone listening. It's like, yeah, I met James. James connected me to Grant. Grant just connected me to this guy that we're now all friends with, and I'm launching this new business soon, and this dude's like begging me to invest. Yeah. Like this one guy could fill our entire round if he wanted to, and if we wanted to take his money, and it came from a simple like conversation. Yeah. So yeah, if you're really just if you put yourself out there and you are authentically yourself, you do right by people. Doesn't mean that you need to be a pushover and be like nice guy, but you know, do right by people. Lead with providing value. I think it's literally just a matter of time until something goes your way that changes your life.
Yeah. And one thing that he touched on that I think is like super important is like to understand that like media is a long game. Media is a long game. Anybody that like wants to get into it like and make money quick, it's just like with any business, like you're going to dilute your brand. Like that is like number one most important thing when you're thinking about like, how do I make money off my brand? It's like understand that if you dilute your brand, it's just like momentum. When you lose your momentum, it's very hard to get it back. And so I think that you need to understand that. Like I look at like Hard Knocks. Obviously, we've really got a great grasp of like the media business now and like how to really effectively monetize. But dude, we didn't start making good money until like last summer. Like last summer was our first 100K month.
I was just about to ask you that. When did you guys first start again? So how many years?
Okay, yeah, right. So April 2021 was when we started, right? A year in, we probably got up to making, 30 to 35 grand off of like ad revenue. We got invited into like the Facebook Reels bonus program. We would max that out every month. But when you're posting on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, you don't own that content. They decide when they want to pay you and when they don't. We just had our podcast channel banned, taken down, and we just did a podcast with a billionaire, like and the mayor of New York, and like that our podcast was growing really well. They banned it, so you don't like that's the problem.
How did they ban it? Why?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, do you guys not have connections? I feel like at your level, you must know. Like there must be like someone who's seen your content.
We had a YouTube partner. I mean, we're connected to like a lot of YouTubers, so we're in the process of trying to. But it's just to go and show that like that's why you can never build a business and media off of like ad revenue because like I was talking about how a year into Hard Knocks we got up to making 35K, and then we got demonetized. And so like we're a year in, we go from making 35K between three people to fucking couple bips off of TikTok.
You guys have millions of followers at this point, yeah?
Well, no, we're a year and we probably have collectively a couple hundreds of thousands of followers, But I mean, it's just like, but that's when that's honestly looking back at it, it was honestly like a great thing that had happened, and then you realize that okay, hey, we gotta learn how to build businesses now, right? And so, but one thing I want to say is that I was just having this conversation. You mentioned I've got two awesome co-founders, my brother, Josh, awesome guys, great business guys. And, Josh was talking to us about how he's like, if you were to go back to those like trench days, we're like a year and change in, we're still paying ourselves. This is probably what 2022, even maybe going into the beginning of 2023, we're paying ourselves like $2,000 a month. Even when we were making like the 30K though, and I think this is a really important tidbit right here, even when we were making 30 to 35K a month, it's all 100% profit because it was ad revenue. We were only paying ourselves $2,000. And one of my favorite sayings of all time is stay small enough, long enough, and you'll be big enough soon enough. Like even we've had 500K profit months and we still only paid ourselves like 10 to 12K a month. And guess what we did with the rest? Dumped it into real estate. We've been buying multi-family real estate all over Texas over the last like year, 200 plus units in San Antonio. We just kind of went in on a big deal with, that's the thing is like, and the beautiful thing with like the School of Hard Knocks is like, I've learned and seen so many millionaires that made it and then they lost it. So it's like there will definitely be a time like when I get like a nice car and do all that, but I'm like right now, man, I just want to preserve like just wealth creation, wealth preservation, wealth creation, and like get all those streams kind of like flowing, but media is the long game. And going back to the conversation that I was having with Josh when he was asking us like, hey, what would you have gone and told yourself in the trench days? And I was like, oh, well, I would have told us to build this way sooner. And Josh is like, honestly, no, because we spent those first couple of years, like you talked about with like the Horbozy thing, just providing so much like free value. It built so much trust that when the time kind of like came to like actually like monetize, start running ads, it's like, again, we went from, making like 100K a month, like last summer to now where it's like every month since then we've done anywhere from $400,000 to $600,000 like a month, right? And obviously there's an array there.
It's almost pure profit, right?
a lot of it's profit, right? Like we've got, internal teams within the agency, but like community, low ticket, high ticket, like brand partnerships, like ad revenue, like brand partnerships, ad revenue, it's 100% profit. Community or the communities, again, super high profit. Like we've got community managers and stuff like that. But yeah, it's media. If you do the media business right, the margins are unlike any other business.
The most important thing is that you don't ruin those years and hundreds, if not thousands of videos of authenticity with like the wrong thing. Like you said, if you try and monetize too soon, or if you
in the wrong way.
You don't want to dilute the
you
don't want to dilute the brand.
You ruin all of that goodwill that you've built up, know?
And a lot of people, when you actually get in the rooms, not like you're hanging out with your boys from high school or random people in Austin, but like when you're around the deck of millionaires, 100+ millionaires and billionaires, they do not care about cars. Unless it's like, oh, you have this one? Yeah, I've had a couple Ferraris. That's the conversation. What people actually care about is what you do. Like what value
and how cool
you
are.
Yeah, and your personality, 100%.
Do I like, when you have enough, sorry to cut you off there, but what I've learned is like, when you have so much money where you could buy any experience, the experience of a nice car, the experience of a nice watch, the experience of a yachting trip or a private jet, all you want is to just hang out with cool people.
100%.
It's like, it's wild.
People that are doing cool things, people inspire you, people that are fun to be around. And the car stuff is more so, like, I remember just being, I got to get a Lamborghini when I was young. I was so obsessed with it. And then when I finally started making money, I was like, I got to do this the right way. And I asked all my really wealthy friends, and they're like, nah, don't get a Huracan. It's going to make you look like a YouTuber. And I'm like, oh, damn. and so, I ended up getting like a nice
It's going to make you a YouTuber.
And then I got that, and I was like, dude, it really doesn't matter. What matters is, double and triple and quadruple my brand, building bigger businesses, being more successful. Because we'll all have every single car that ever exists. I guarantee 20 years from now, we'll all have, I've had a couple Ferraris. It'll be cool. We'll have a great time with it. But what people are going to be talking about the most is the brands and the businesses and the success and the lives that we've impacted. I mean, I'm sure you guys experience this all the time, is that like you'll get long messages this long from people. It's like, hey, bro, like you changed my life. They've never sent a message to me before. They've never messaged me before. I've never even seen them comment. And they're like, dude, like I was in this place. I just built this huge company literally just from watching your videos. Like, thank you. So you never know who you're impacting, and you may not find out for 20 years, but I mean, that's what it's really about.
Well, the only thing, because I completely agree with that, but the only question that I've been asking myself recently is, could I reach more people if I was a little flashy, because like there's genuinely so many people, like I know, not to toot my own horn, but like I know that the system that I built and the things that I'm working on are going to work because like I have the best mentors in the world.
I can tell you exactly what I think you should do. I want to hear your thoughts too, James. Is don't do it from a place of I'm going to get more attention, because they'll feel it. But if you do it, because like, okay, you know how you just had like this great month with Haas, right?
Yeah.
And you hit this, and I've seen your videos. You're like, the comments are being nicer, and people are like, oh shit, because
people are nice. You switched up all of a sudden.
No, right. But this is why. It's because you're in the process of teaching them a lesson to respect you and that you call your shot. Okay, so like your tsunami is building right now, because they're like, because bro, like, why was Conor McGregor so big? It was because he said all that crazy shit and he backed it up.
Yeah. But that's the crazy part, is he was wrong half the time too, which is even a bigger lesson.
And he kept doing, but he was still humble in defeat.
Yeah.
He still was humble in defeat. So you showed your losses. Now, if you win like big time, Outliers is crushing, Haas starts like cooking. Like I'm not, like cooking. Like people are like, damn, right? Then you're like, you know what? Like I earned it. If I hit this metric, I was going to get a nice car.
Okay.
And it's the heart. Now it's the story. They saw the downsides. They saw this. Now you got the clip of you taking the $70,000 PayPal loan, and then the clip of you buying the whatever. And you're like, man, I really bought this through like hard work. You show the clips of people talking shit, and then it's like this. So now it's like you did that shit.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, I'm going to get this so my ads convert better and I sell some more of this or that. So y'all buy, it comes from a different place.
To be tasteful, yeah.
And it's like humans are very susceptible to change. Like they pick it up quickly. You learn this when you run a company. Like now, like on my Zoom, I have like a little screen because people would be like, hey, where are you at? Hey, where are you at? If my background's different, right? So like, and the internet now is so smart. Like they know who's full of shit and they know who's good so quickly.
And you can't like, I like that you said that. You can't try to be authentic. You are or you aren't. Right? It's not like something you cannot convince someone that you are authentic. You just either are or you aren't, right? And I think you're right. So maybe what I do is like for my situation is I go, okay, if we hit 8 million this year, then like to whatever projection, 10 million, then I treat myself. And yeah, then it'll be exactly almost 1 year from me almost going bankrupt and having to ask all my friends for money just to survive, So now it's a story and it's like tasteful. It's like, oh, okay, there's a whole storyline there. So yeah, I agree. But it's unfortunate that these days, because I literally get the comments all the time, why should I listen to you if you don't have a car yet? Like people will actually say that. And it's not that their opinions matter, but like I genuinely do just want to teach. Like I just hope I don't sell a course. The truth is like my audience is mainly geared towards business anyway. So the people that follow me aren't even really like buying activewear, my main brand. If I wanted to sell as much activewear as possible, I would post lifestyle stuff. I'd post lifting stuff and fitness training and fashion videos, but I post business. So I really don't even sell anything. Like even for outliers, like those are for like the multimillionaires. Like I don't even sell anything to the little guys. I just want to help. But unfortunately, sometimes you have to show like why should they listen to you? So that's the only, like I could give a fuck about, like I'm cool with my Mick Lexus, you know what I mean?
But dude,
I could give a fuck about giving the G-Wagon or whatever, but
it's a sign that you're heading the right direction if they're commenting things like that, because that means you matter. Like I saw something Jerry Jones, I just caught something interesting that Jerry Jones does. You know how there's
Dallas Cowboys owner?
Yeah, you know how there's always controversy. Everyone's always literally people call him Jerry. They're like, oh, Jerry pisses me off. Jerry's this, Jerry's that. And there was this whole contract dispute that was going on with Micah. Was it Micah Parsons? Is that his name? Parsons, yeah. Whole thing's going on, right? And then he finally gave up some of the secret sauce, and he goes, well, we got to keep some controversy. Trust me, it's going to work out, but we got to keep some controversy so y'all keep talking about us. And he does the Trump effect where it's like all publicity is good publicity. And the more you're talking about us, and he does this on purpose. Like think about it. This brand is worth like, I think, 11 or 12 billion dollars. It's the most valuable in the world, but he's constantly having. So if they're doing that, like they're going to remember those hate comments, and then all of a sudden they're going to see you with this, and now they're going to see you in 2 years.
You want people to watch you hoping you lose just as much as you want people to watch you hoping you win.
Yes.
So yeah, it's the same thing with a guy like Jake Paul. There was actually one girl that you interviewed the other day. I forget it. Black girl. Super successful.
Megan Thee Stallion?
No, it wasn't Megan Thee Stallion. She was a business owner, and she was saying something like she was huge on social media, and she was like, I always try and piss people off.
You're talking about Afnan. She's from Saudi. She's Arab. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, shit. I'm retarded. But she had a great saying. She was like,
she pops. Yeah.
She was like, fuck. Do you remember what she said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly?
No, she was talking about how like you have to lean into like the controversy. That's why she's saying like the most successful people in the world: Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Kim Kardashian.
Yes, that was her.
She mentioned them in the sense of like because you polarize people a little bit, and just like Grant Cardone says, I don't care if you like me or hate me as long as you call me. You know what I mean? So and Grant Cardone makes 150 million a year alone off of his audience. So which is ridiculous. So
let's talk about how to monetize a little bit, right? Like we just covered. Obviously, you build goodwill first.
Yep.
It's the same principle that I tell everyone coming into Outliers with, right? Provide value first. Mm-hmm. You meet someone, you want to ask them for something right away. Maybe you start getting some followers on social media. You want to start selling something. Provide a little more value. Provide a little more value. Provide a little more value. Drop it for free, right? Like doesn't Alex Hormozi, he like dropped his book for free, and then you can go and buy an upsell or whatever, right? So, let's say you spend 2, 3, 4 years buying that goodwill of your audience, like you guys both did. How are you guys now monetizing it?
So first things first, and like this is the most important thing right here when it comes to like when it is time to monetize. And I think this is like the biggest mistake that people make is they get this like emotional attachment to like wanting to start some business because they want to. When in reality, it's like your audience does not follow you because of that. And what I mean by that is I'll give you 2 examples. So like 2 years in, like we had already started the content marketing agency, and we're like, hey, let's start kind of like an additional business. Let's start an e-commerce store where we sell motivational canvas art. And we're like, oh, and why? We didn't talk to anybody about it.
I bet you guys thought that was a really good idea.
We thought it was a great idea because we're like, man, we're interviewing all these people, and we were significantly smaller. This is like we had less than probably 100K. This is actually, I think, before the content agency. So this is like, I think, our first ever shot at trying to like launch a business with our audience. And we're like, hey, let's start a motivational canvas art store. You know, we're interviewing successful people. Surely this should work. And, you know, we even, as a matter of fact, we hired an outsourced CMO for like $5K a month. We tried it out for 3 months. And this is a guy, like, a lot of people in the internet space would actually, you know, probably know him. And I have nothing but respect for this guy because like he genuinely like runs like an incredible e-commerce store with insane margins and is like known very well in the space as like just like he's a savage at business. But like Mark Cuban says, like you can't hire somebody to save your business. Like you know, you can, and that's what we did. We invested the 15 grand and we sold, you know, 3 pieces of canvas art.
That's crazy. You got 10 million plus followers.
Yeah. Well, no, this is before we even had 100K on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So no, we were significantly smaller at the time. But there was a lesson there. It's like the people following us did not want that. Okay. Fast forward like a year later, we had the content agency. We're like, hey, let's do a social media, you know, course, how to go from 0 to 7 figures in a year on social media. And it was like we were selling it for like $200. After like a couple weeks, we just cut the cord because like, dude, people don't want this. People don't follow us because of our ability to create content. Now, as we've gotten bigger, definitely people that have seen the size of the brand that we built, and now people are actively wanting to learn for sure. But this is, again, we probably had maybe 400,000 followers on Instagram, or maybe we had right under 1 million, maybe 400K, definitely 1 million collectively. But again, we realized that, dude, we tried selling this social media thing, and even though there was a ton of value in it, like we genuinely knew how to grow and
product market fit.
Dude, people didn't follow us because of that. So again, I think one of the most important things that you can do is when you get an idea of something that you want to create, is you have to talk to your audience. You have to constantly like pull them before you like decide to launch something, right? So in our case, we took all of our biases aside. Why do people actually follow us? And that's what everybody, like when you're starting to build that brand, you're providing value, you're starting to get some raving fans, you're starting to get some of those like cult followers. You need to take all of your bias out to what you know and what you think people want, all that aside, and like really figure out, get to the root of why they follow you. And in our case, when anybody, whether it's the 3 of us or anybody from the outside looks at Hard Knocks, what type of content do we create? What is the business that we're ultimately in? It's the bridging business. It's literally taking people and giving them access through content directly to millionaire and billionaire entrepreneurs on a daily, you know, weekly basis, essentially, right? So it's like, okay, perfect. Let's find a way to make money off of like giving people access to these people that people genuinely don't have. Like most people, like obviously if you built something, right? If you built the brand, then you can go and get access. You can go and kind of build that Rolodex network. But if you don't necessarily have that, or maybe you have built it, but you still like lack in the network, or you want to be a part of like getting access to real like heavy hitters. So that's why we're like, okay, let's talk to our audience though. So we started for months before we even launched any sort of like online, you know, product. In our case, it was a community was like that first offer that we went to go and launch. And we started to just talk to the customers, talk to the audience. Guys, we're planning on building, you know, a huge community for entrepreneurs, a big network. What would you guys want inside? And we would just keep doing it. And that way you can learn and like make that product as great as possible. And I think that is so, so important. And we did that for months. Like we weren't in a launch to rush it, but ultimately did that and just spent so much time trying to make such like a great product. And so now we've got, you know, over, you know, probably about 5,500 paid members. Our churn's like 6 or 7%, which is like really solid for like a paid community. And, you know, it's just learned so much about it. And just the emphasis goes on like product. And like, obviously like, you know, 16 million followers, 5,500 members. It's like, is there like a disparity? Yeah. Like I think about that all the time. But one of my biggest flaws is, dude, I hate to market. I genuinely do hate to sell. And so I'll do an occasional, like I'd say one of every 10 or 15 videos, I'll do like a little CTA on like a short form video. I market pretty decently on the stories, 1 or 2 times on YouTube a month. But that's something that I need to get a lot better at, is getting more comfortable about that. But so that's why, the paid ads with the other thing has been huge, because that's, again, the thing that I know Hormozy does a lot is like he's organic's all just value. He doesn't sell organically, but then with the paid ads, he goes very hard. Absolutely. And that's why like our ads like are getting like a 10 to 12x like ROAS, which is crazy.
What's
that?
That's what I probably stick to. That's what I learned. Yeah. That's what I learned, is that you want to keep the biggest thing I've like kind of like reminding myself from doing this is like keeping the main thing and first principles is so important. Like learning and making decisions through first principles. First principles are the most fundamental truths. It's not reasoning off of analogy, like how it worked for them or this. Like, how do you like just reason backwards with very, very, very simple thinking? And you get that through talking to lots of people, through testing things. But what made the School of Hard Knocks big in the first place? Goodwill, talking to really successful people that no one's heard before. They've seen the Grant Cardone interviews. They've seen all the main people. They're great. But who the heck is this guy in Highland Park? Who's this guy in Beverly Hills? So that's the goodwill, right? People who want to pay you will find you through links, through an occasional call to action.
Okay,
the ads is the hack.
Yeah, so I'm curious both your guys' opinion on this. Alex Hormozy has this great saying of like, don't advertise. If put your link in your bio. If people want to find you, they'll click it. I actually completely disagree with that. Like, and this isn't just on my own experience. This is on like what I've learned from my mentor Hudson, who's like will probably go down as the greatest person in e-commerce history. Like I was doing some research the other day. There's not that many billionaires in e-com. You'd think there'd be a lot. E-com's huge. There's only a few. Fashion Nova, Ben Francis, Gymshark, and then maybe like 1 or 2 more. There's
Fashion Nova founders are billionaires?
I think so.
Fashion Nova is for sure a billionaire.
But that's the thing is he might not have. So Hudson has 100% of comfort, right?
It's that volume, right?
And and he also has, like that's the thing. But I was looking it up. I was like, how many billionaires really are there? Like actually, not net worth, but like people who actually have over $1 billion from e-commerce, solely e-commerce. There's like less than half a dozen. And I was like, wow, I was really surprised by that. Number one,
cash flow margins are too tough.
Yeah, the margins are tough. And the thing about e-commerce is like you need to raise money for inventory usually. If you really want to grow fast, it's so hard to bootstrap it. It's just unheard of. And my mentor's done that. He has 100%. Like he'll go down in e-commerce is probably like the GOAT of e-commerce, I think, by the end of his time. And he's the exact opposite. He always preaches, you need to have a call to action on everything. And you need to create so much scarcity and urgency that someone feels like if they don't buy it right this second, like they're fucking cooked. And, speaking like with Outliers, for everyone watching, like Outliers is my founders group, essentially like high 7, 8, 9-figure founders, right? Just a collection of everyone. I hate posting on my store. I hate it, bro. It feels so bad. Like 3 spots left, I fucking hate that. But like everyone that joins loves it and says they've made money off of it and they love they've gotten so much value out of it. But I have to really like push people to get in sometimes. If I just leave it in my bio, like leads don't really go to it like that, at least in my own experience.
You got to tell people about it.
Yeah. They always say that a lot of people are great at what they do, but no one knows what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what I think? I think you recently met Dean Graziosi.
Yeah.
I love Dean. He's a great guy. Are you familiar with Dean Graziosi?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, for sure, yeah. Guy's awesome. And I think the mindset shift that I am still having to undergo, that I think that we all are, like you said, you have to tell people about it, but I think that could help you a lot, is that you got to look at it as the service is helping them. And I think that like the more that like even myself is like, when I look at like, just take like our community, for example, or your networking group, that you built, is that you're, in our case, it's a low ticket product, right? $30 to $50 a month. We do price drops. We do, stuff like that. Is you know, you're giving people like literal access to come and learn from, ask questions to people that have built 8, 9, 10-figure businesses. Like we've had 3 or 4 billionaires on live calls. Like you can't pay billionaires for their time.
They want to do it.
They just don't do it. Like, and so it's like our ability to do that with the relationships and the people that we've kind of curated connections with is like, that is something that most people will, 99.9% of people will never get to experience that. And if you can look at it as that, it's like, you're really like, you're serving them by giving them access to kind of this, what you have, as long as it's something like very genuine. You know, like, so I definitely see both sides. I would say it's like, you know, Gary Vee's like the jab hook is kind of like his kind of strategy is what he advises people, right? So like where I think it's maybe finding that medium as far as like where it's like, hey, it's there, you know. He brought up how, you know, you provide so much value that when it's time for you to kind of launch something, people are just ready to pay you. They want to give you their money, man. They're ready to give you it.
It depends on the person, because I remember like Grant Cardone is a guy that he's always selling. No matter what he's doing, he's always selling. But it kind of works for him. Like it's his thing, you know, he's a sales guy and it's his personality and he's very transparent. So it works. But maybe if like James started doing that, they would be like, oh, this guy changed, he switched up. Like it may not work for James, right?
And Grant's been the guy doing that from the get-go. Like that's been his thing. Like you either love him or hate him. But like again, a lot of people, like you have to respect what he's done.
No, for sure.
I think it's all about framing it as if you're trying to, like when I look at Tyler, for example, TJR, he posts every single day on his story, right? Mastermind's open again. But it comes off as like, I'm trying to help you guys change your life too. I'm opening up 10 new spots for students today so you guys can change your life.
Well, it's also like, you know, we brought up at the beginning, like if you're kind of in that realm where you're genuinely like growing hundreds and thousands of followers every day,
you
it's
like
capture
that audience.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, you know, and maybe there's people that have been following for like months or like years that are like, oh, here goes this guy again or whatnot. Yeah, and like, I'm sure like people that have like been hammered with like the copy as far as like where you can ask your questions, like that's kind of from our case. But so it definitely is, you know, if you're getting that growth and that momentum, that's the time to kind of like just like capitalize when it's fresh.
And I feel like you learn the right thing for your audience once you start testing the market. It's not like you're talking about the multiple business ones you start and you're like, okay, this didn't work. And the ones that have succeeded is you learn how your audience responds. I work with a company called Net Revenue, and they handle a lot of the back end sales stuff. So I like hearing like what's working for different people. Like this guy there's this real estate guy, Thatch, that does like over $1 million a month in revenue.
Thatch and Win, right?
Yeah.
Seattle, right?
You should have him. He's a good guy. Sure. But like all these different people, and he's like, Grant, it's so interesting. Like your audience replies like this, and we've never seen it. And they're like, this guy's replies like this, because you have a different group of people. Like everyone's the same. Like for example, we all have general business stuff, but our audiences, when we look at our demographics and the age and the interests and what they respond to, is all going to be different. So you never really know. And the person who knows best is the person that makes the content and interacts with the followers and sees the DMs every single day.
Yeah. And so how are you monetizing right now? I mean, I know, but for everyone watching, like how, Grant's really interesting because Grant first became very successful, built a very successful solar business, then started documenting it. And then recently you kind of realized like, okay, I want to build an asset. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like, I want to build an asset, something I can sell one day for a lot of money, but I also want to get some cash flow right now. And you have the audience for it. So how did you monetize your following after years of that goodwill?
Yeah, well, the way I did is that people just kept saying, hey, do you have a course? I'm like, no. And I just never wanted to build a course. And they're like, hey, can I like book you for consulting? Like, can I pay you this? Can I pay this? I'm like, man, I don't have time. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't want to do it. Yeah. And I said no for like 2-3 years. And that was one thing with asking your audience. Like I started seeing like what they're experiencing. And I kind of have like 4 buckets of following. One is someone that wants to be an entrepreneur one day. Second is like someone that's a salesperson or a successful employee that wants to launch a business, someone that is an entrepreneur, or someone that just likes motivational type content. And so I started kind of feeling out what the problems were. And then that's when I just started like taking on clients. I don't take on a lot, but you can tell when someone's like the right fit. Like for example, I have someone that I just worked with. His name's Santiago. He lives in Miami. He's from Colombia. He's literally an immigrant. He's only been in America for like 5 years. When he joined like just the low ticket community, $30 a month or whatever. He was doing like 35 grand a month in sales for a roofing company. And then he's like, you have one-on-one? I want to sign up immediately. Signed up. I worked with him for a month and he was asking me about delegation, all this stuff. And I'm like, wait, how much do you make per deal? And he's like, oh, brother, I make like $1,500. And I said, we should start a roofing company. And he's like, what? Well, this and that. I said, dude, you can make 8 to 10 per deal. I can help you scale it. Dude, 65 days in, he just hit $1 million in freaking revenue.
Wow.
Unreal.
You're working with him?
Yes.
How do you guys work together? Like, how's that structure?
No, I'm not. I didn't even get equity or anything. Like, I just coached him. I should have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Honestly, now I'm like, maybe I should start
you absolutely
investing.
should, bro. Yeah.
I should start.
I gave fucking Hudson 10% of my company because he's the go at it, right?
So like, well, now I've done this like 7 times now with like for example, there's this other guy in New York that was an interior designer for a company. He made 75 grand last year. Started working with him in January. He's gonna do 2 million in sales this year.
Wow.
Like this is like, it's so repetitive, like, but it's because once you've done something once, it's like teaching someone how to ride a bike. And the common themes I found of what makes these entrepreneurs super successful is they're obsessed, they go fast, and they don't bog their mind down with the like, for example, people that haven't started a business before have been successful, they think about like, what about LOC? What's CRM? What's this? It's like, no, like, how quickly can you sell a product to a marketplace, prove that it works, and then you build the constraints of the business.
Sell it first and figure it out.
Like, you've already done 7 figures and you're like, dude, I don't even know how to do ads.
Yeah.
That's the shining
perfect
example.
Setup. Yeah, because now you have that proof.
Exactly. And like Santiago's like, literally 2 months in after we made $1 million in revenue, he's like, Grant, can you teach me how to manage people? And he asked me how to do that 60 days prior. And I'm like, Santiago, you're one of the best salespeople I've ever seen. I don't want to talk to you about this. How can we get you to triple your appointments, get you into more homes, and then I'm going to start teaching you how to hire people.
Well, that's such valuable advice that you just gave him. And he might have wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars, years of time going the other route.
Yes.
Like, how do I build the team first, and then we go back and figure out how to sell? And yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
You sell first. Even Michael, our buddy that I just had on the last pod, actually, he was saying this too.
Oh,
Michael Andrew.
Yeah, Michael.
He said, this guy does, $1 million a month. He's an attorney by trade, M&A attorney. And he said, any good attorney, like a really good one, can pretty much fix any problem of the past. And what that told me, which is really interesting, because I spent about 60 grand last year on lawyers, is I didn't have to fucking spend $1, and they probably just could have gone and fixed it a couple years from now for the same price, maybe a little bit more. But in terms of how much that dollar amount is compared to our total revenue, it'd be nothing. Like 60 grand on attorneys when that's your entire profit for the year, like that's devastating. Doesn't even make sense to focus on stuff like that when you're that small. Go back and fix it later, right? I think Andrew Tate actually said something about that in one of his videos, that one of the things that he did actually have a really good point on. Sell first. Sell first. Prove that people even like want it, whatever you're trying to do, before you build out your team, before you go build your really nice website, before you go hire people, before you go set up your LLC, like make sure that whatever you're trying to sell is actually wanted, whether it's a pair of shorts like my thing, content on how to become a business owner, business coaching, roofing, whatever. Like, and if you have to go stand on the street or hit up your friends and family first, that's what you got to do. I think so many people are afraid to do that most important part.
A good question to ask is like, what is the most important thing I need to focus on to make my business grow today?
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember year 1 after we did like 5.6 million in revenue, I'm like, I want to double my business. And I had a couple older guys that came to work for the company, and they're like, dude, this company is like a dinosaur. Y'all don't have this tech. You don't have this tech. And I said, dude, we just did almost 6 million year 1. And so I was asking myself, like, what would double the business? And I'm looking at all these CRMs and all this and all this tech stuff and all these things. And I'm like, fuck, this is going to take 3 months. This is going to 50 grand. And I was like, what is my superpower? And I'm like, hiring, teaching sales, and doing the basics. And I did all the numbers, and I said, how many sales reps do I need? What does my ad spend need to be? And all I need to do, this literally sounds dumb because it's that simple. I doubled my ad spend, and I hired 2 times the amount of sales reps, and we did 12 million the next year. It's literally that simple.
And then you build those CRMs.
Then I hired a tech guy, and they did the whole thing for us, and then we did it again. But I kept the main thing. And that's what's super important early on in business, like with you guys.
Sell it first and figure it out.
It's wild, dude. It's like, then you have the money. You have the proof and you have the money. But if you try and build the system first, it might not even be the right thing you're supposed to do. It's like the other day, even like with my mentor, Hudson, like, I would say the operational structure of his business probably isn't anywhere near as good as a massive, like a normal $700 million brand or whatever. But he's so good at selling. He has such a massive creator network. He has so many creators who know how to convert at such a rapid pace. Like, look at a company. I don't want to shit talk anybody, but there's this one brand on TikTok Shop. I won't say what niche it is, but there's this one brand on TikTok Shop that does about $50 million a year. You go and look at their website and you go, how the fuck are these guys making money? Like, they're like, it's not even aligned properly. The pictures aren't done right. Like, you just look at it and you're like, how is this business even making money? It looks like a little kid threw the website together, but they do 50 million a year because they have an army of affiliates and creators who know how to sell.
But there's always like, every business owner has a superpower and every business has something that's the most important. Imagine if 2-3 years ago, someone gave James advice, you need to be obsessed with ads, bro. Spend all of your time doing this. And instead of him going up and interviewing and traveling to this city, to this city, to this city, and interviewing all these people every single day and becoming literally one of the best interviewers on the internet, he focused every day on ads. How much following? You probably would have 1 million followers right now.
There's so much, like, right there alone, and I think we can all attest, obviously, being that we've been in different realms, from solar to apparel to content collectively to media, is that I think about going back to year 1, 2, 3 when we were getting involved in masterminds, and you could have conversations with 10 people. Maybe they're super familiar with the media business model, and they may be extremely successful. They may have done 10 million plus in exits, and they're all telling you to do something different with your audience and to focus on something different. I mean, think about you. I'm sure anybody, you can collectively remember the conversations that you've had with people, with successful people telling you to do 2 completely different things. And that's why it's like, sometimes, like, you are gonna know best. There's a ton of value in mentorship. I like to say mentorship.
Sometimes you can't listen to anybody,
dude. I like mentorship's great because it's wisdom without the wounds. You brought up how if you can kind of attach yourself to that person, right, they can save you years and like just tons of like money lost, 100%. But there are a lot of things that, like, where you literally just have to, and sometimes you do have to take some of those L's yourself. Sometimes you do have to.
Well, that's the power of fresh eyes. Because that's why, like, VCs, they love these young kids because they don't. For example, have y'all ever been skiing before?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how, like, the best skiers are always like the kids that are this tall and they're just like going down the mountain and they're just literally like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, you're going down a fucking black or something and then someone just zooms past you who's half your size.
Right, you've never hit a tree before, like you have zero fear. And they always say, like, if you're gonna ski, you need to learn early because the older you get, the harder it gets, because you're like, dude, I work at a corporate job, my leg's gonna be broken, I can't.
Yeah,
exactly. You don't want to do that, right? And so sometimes that's great from a business perspective, is what worked in media 15 years ago doesn't work in media now, obviously. I mean, MSNBC is changing their entire name to MS Now, and there's all these things happening. And so sometimes, like, the best advice is to not take advice, but be around smart people, learn. And if you learn how to think, you can critically think and look at your business that you know better than anybody else and make the necessary changes.
You can listen to everybody. I think, it's super important to surround yourself with very, very smart, ambitious people. Maybe it's mentors, maybe it's people in a networking group, maybe it's people your age that are also doing sick things. But at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna, because no one understands like what's going on in your world and in your head.
And even, again, Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, sold it for $26 billion. Like, I was like asking him, like, did he ever kind of like face a lot of rejection, or like, did he have people that kind of like doubted him? Like, I love asking people that question because you kind of get, like, before they built this major company, like the adversity or like the people, like what people were like telling them before they built it. And he said 2/3 of his smart friends from PayPal Mafia, right? PayPal Mafia's got some of the smartest biggest like the founders of YouTube, the founders of
might be the single greatest collection of entrepreneurs of all time.
Crazy,
honestly.
And he said 2/3 of his friends from that organization told him that LinkedIn would have failed. And I was like, so why don't you listen to them? And he said, no, you do. You listen to them, but you get that layer. You get that layer that they don't know. And in his case, it was like he saw like the network effect of everything like that. And so I think that there's a lot to be said about you do take the insight. You don't say, "Oh, fuck this person," because sometimes maybe they are looking out for your best interests, and maybe they actually do have experience doing something similar. But again, brought up MSNBC, they're changing. Like things change. You have to be adaptable, and maybe you get a piece of insight or a unique angle, and you know more about the people consuming your stuff that other people don't know.
When do you think you're going to start your personal brand? Like really talk, like you know what I mean by that? Because you started the pod we're on now by saying, who wants to listen to a young 20-year-old talk about business if he hasn't done anything yet?
Honestly, like probably in a couple years, honestly, like after we exit for 9 figures.
So so you want to exit first?
I want to exit
start
for 9 figures
about
plus, and then do it. Yeah, but maybe sooner. Like I think you know what I think my honest transition would be to doing the personal brand, and we'll talk about this content idea right now. I think it would be really cool to get like more of like showing kind of like a day in the life of me going to hang out with Shaq. Or like me going like on set of like a commercial shoot with like Shaq, or what it's like going to like actually meet Tom Cruise. Because a lot of people just see the interviews, and sometimes on like YouTube I'll like show like the behind the scenes. But I think that on like the personal brand, I was showing, all right guys, I'm about to interview Tom Cruise today. Come with me. I think that would be a great segue.
Dude, I think you got to do that now, bro. I think if you wait until after an exit or until you've hit 100 million, whatever your goal is, you will absolutely have a lot of credibility, and you'll have a good foundation to then start a personal brand. But let's say you sell the business and you immediately want to get into something else. Maybe it could be anything, apparel, CPG, whatever. Mm-hmm. You want to have built up at least a couple 100,000 followers of people who just love James. I could give a fuck about Shaq or whoever he's interviewing. I love James. And then you're going to have a wait list of people that want to work with you, that want to buy from you, that want to talk to you about it, that want to have you on their pod. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you should start talking about that.
I kind of like, though, like the one thing I'll say I like about him is you're slow playing it, and you're younger. So let the market kind of pull you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I saw y'all just did a speaking event. Like those things are happening more and more and more. Behind the scenes things, like maybe you don't come across as like this expert yet. You wait till that 100 million, but you just show the behind the scenes, and you show different things, and they get to see a little bit more, but not everything, and slowly do it. I mean, dude, the School of Hard Knocks is so big, and and you guys are going to continue to grow, that it's still going to naturally bleed over to all 3 of y'all's social media accounts.
Hard Knocks BTS, bro. Like your life is sick. You get to, you're traveling to UAE to meet the fucking Saudi prince. You know what I mean? Like. I would totally document that behind the scenes. Just
vlogs would be cool.
They just put us up in this fucking the Burj Al Arab, whatever.
You keep it on a separate thing.
I think we have the domains for Hard Knocks Chronicles.
Okay,
the Hard Knocks Chronicles.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. And then they get to meet your co-founders, James and Josh, because not a lot of people know this. Like I always say, it's like, what makes them successful? Oh, the James guy, and I'm like, well, it's James is the content guy, Josh is, and then I just go through both your guys, and it's like y'all's combination of intelligence is huge.
I really think that would lead to more leads than even your main channel, because now, like for your group, for example, because people are gonna now you're entertaining them with a whole vlog, and you could be like, all right guys, like it's a super busy day, like we're going to meet this prince, and then we're going to meet this
they buy
real estate billionaire,
to us, not just the experts.
Actually,
and then at the end of the day,
who's a good model is Gary Vee.
Yeah,
marketing agency and like the back end stuff, and him talking to clients.
You know who I think has one of the strongest personal brands of all time that nobody ever talks about because he's not technically in business? Ryan Serhant, bro.
Oh, he's a great.
I think he's phenomenal. What he did of really just like documenting what it's like to, and anybody in any industry can do this. He's not a businessman, or at least he wasn't when he started. He just said, okay, let me go document like me talking about cool apartments and houses, and he got so big that there's a Netflix show about him. Like, that's kind of what I want to do, honestly.
His YouTube's really good. You should.
Yeah, dude, he's a killer, bro. And he's a great speaker, and he's got this cool look, and he's created a personal brand. And what I like most about his personal brand, honestly, is it's a monopoly, bro. There's really not that many guys in real estate. Like, you think like who has the best personal brand real estate?
He's one-on-one, bro. Yeah.
I mean, you got him and Josh Altman.
Who's Josh Altman?
The guy, he's on $1 Million Listens, Italian guy in LA.
But to your point, that like you can't really name, you can't name it. You know what I mean?
Because I'm not in real estate. Maybe if you're in real estate, you would know. But when your personal brand starts reaching other niches, then you have something valuable. And dude, I mean, there's nobody else doing interviews like you guys are. And so I think to not be documenting the behind the scenes of it is just thrown away.
So what do y'all think are some best ways to preserve the brand for the next 20 years?
Preserve the brand?
Preserve like y'all's brand or any brand.
Oh, okay. I got to get that on. So I think, Jake Paul isn't a businessman, right? But I think obviously we can all agree he's got one of the strongest personal brands of all time. It's because he's always reinventing himself. If you're talking about the same thing over and over and over, let's take that guy Colin, the private jet concierge guy.
Oh yeah, right.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
He does like the calls.
Yeah, people call him and say, "Hey, I'm trying to rent a private jet." He blew up, got a couple million followers, but if he continues to do that for 2 or 3 years, it's gonna die off, right? Because I get the point. Okay, Sarah's calling, bitching again. I've seen that already. I've seen every type of call in he can get, right? You need to constantly be reinventing yourself. That's what I've seen from Jake Paul, right?
Sure.
I think anybody who isn't reinventing themselves, isn't doing something new, is going to lose that momentum because especially there's more and more content. Our attention spans are going to shrink into fucking pigeons, right? We're going to have bird brains in a couple of years. You always have to be doing something new.
This is such a good thread right here because, Neil Patel, he's a great friend of mine. He owns like one of the biggest marketing agencies in the entire world. Like I love Gary Vee. Gary Vee's marketing agency does like 200 million a year. Neil Patel, I think, does like 700 or like. Wow. Neil Patel is a monster marketer. Like his clients are like Google, CNN. What's that?
It's business.
Yeah, absolutely. He's incredible, and he actually, he did one of our calls inside of our community, and somebody asked him, it's like, hey, what do you think is like the future for content creation in the next 5 to 10 years? And his answer. And I'll kind of add on to a little bit, maybe at least in line to our content, but his advice to everybody is like the globalization of content is going to be, in his opinion, the biggest thing in the next 5 to 10 years. You look at like what Mr. Beast has done with all like the sub pages. We're now like the guys that do all of like Logan Paul's dub channels. They're doing all of ours on like YouTube and all that, and we're going all in on that model. But even like in like the English version, like I look at us, it's like when you mentioned going to like the UAE. Going to Dubai to interview the rich people over there, you tap into an entirely new market of people. Think about what that does to your growth, to where now your content's not only going crazy in America, but now UAE and Saudi Arabia, because like, Grant hooked us up with fucking Mohammed bin Gadi. He's one of the richest men in the world.
Literally.
Damn. And you did?
Yeah.
How did you know him?
Okay, so literally just making content, all of a sudden I get a follow and it looks like a chic. And you can kind of tell when someone's big time when they follow you.
I love that guy though, bro.
He's amazing, dude. He's a beast.
He's such a good guy, man.
So, so I follow him and then he DMs me. He's like, I love the content, brother. And I'm like, thank you so much, man. And then I was going to India for a TED Talk like 3 weeks later.
You did a TED Talk in India?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And I was there literally for a day and a half and I was like, all right, I got to get to Dubai. I'd already been there once. And I messaged him. I said, hey, Mohammed, are you going to be around? I'm going to be in town. And he's like, and I didn't really know how big he was.
Yeah.
I didn't really know, like I've seen I just saw buildings. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
So for context, he built the first Bugatti residence in the world, the first Mercedes-Benz residence, first Jacob & Co. residence.
Oh, I think I've seen your video with him. But sorry.
So then I'm like, hey man, you're going to be in town. Like, I'd love to say hello. And he's like, well, I'm actually having the unveil of the Mercedes Tower. I'd love to have you as my special guest. And I was like, oh, sure. And thank God I brought a suit because I gave a TED Talk, right? And he's like, can you, if you don't mind, have your team like send your address, a hotel to my team. And this random dude like with the thing comes and appears with like this thing that's like VIP Mercedes, boom, and it's like a whole thing. I show up like solo. I didn't come with anybody. And dude, it was like where a horse race is. There was like 20, 25, 30,000 people there. Everyone's piling in this. I'm like, oh, I'm VIP. They're like, oh, go this way, go this way. They're like, you're here for the CEO? Here for the CEO? One person, they all carry. I'm sitting next to like 3 Russian oligarchs and like on the floor. And dude, it was just incredible. Like there was a drone show of the building and then this car and the Mercedes CEO. And it was just incredible. But literally just from content.
Yeah.
And then I ended up telling Grant Cardone about him. And I was like, Grant, you should meet him.
Muhammad's like a huge fan of his too.
I had no idea. Because I posted Grant once and he's like, oh my God, I love his book.
That is so funny seeing that crossover. Fucking Cardone and Bugatti. Yeah.
Well, dude, everyone in all of the far corners of the earth love Americans for media. Mm-hmm. Like that's what when I went to China, I was talking to them. I was like, what do you guys think of America? Oh, we love America. Yeah, singers. Like we're kind of the entertainment hub of the world.
That's why all the rappers and everyone are performing.
Well, think about like boxing in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Like that's the hub. You know, and again, but like the globalization of content. Like you talked about, like reinventing yourself in terms of that. Like that's when you think about like interviews, right? Like I love that you bring that up because that's always something that I'm thinking about. It's like, man, how you want to prevent it from, you know, from getting stale with people, right? Yeah. And so like again, there's only, you know, so many, you know, of people and the real estate developers in America that you can do before it gets like, okay, here's another one of these guys. But like imagine going to interview like the richest people in Africa. You know, like the Nigerian,
some African king or something.
And that's what I'm gonna do. Like I've never done content in Europe. I've never done content in like Asia outside of like the Middle East. And so it's like Singapore, that whole tour, you know, is like that's my, you know, thing. It's like obviously continue to get like a bunch of like the big top entertainers, artists, whatnot, billionaires in America, but definitely go into them, like go to Africa, go to the richest places in Europe, and get the people there.
Have you ever done like interviews on like imagine doing an interview on like a 400-foot yacht? You know, like that would be so like interviews in Monaco or something.
For sure, yes, exactly. That's one of those
mega yacht. Yeah, that's just crazy new sort of level. So I mean, and it's like you can do it in small ways too. Like you don't have to necessarily change who you are. I look at like Elon Musk, for example, right? The Tesla diner. What a great way to get a ridiculous amount of publicity for such a small price.
Yeah.
Right? The Tesla diner. Like, does the Tesla diner make Tesla any more money? Mm-mm. Does that make them profitable whatsoever? Does that really push the brand forward in any sort of way? Not really. It's a PR thing.
Yeah.
It was like, no way, like they have robots serving us food. Like that's another example in business of like how to continue to stay being talked about, essentially.
It's like Michelin creating the Michelin star review. Yeah. And the whole purpose was to just get people to drive more. And all their marketing is about like on the run or this, that, and the other to make people use their tires more so they have to buy more.
I just found out about that the other day, that like they're the ones that started that thing. That makes no sense, honestly, but
I was so confused when I found that out too.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys right now? We're kind of coming to the end, but like what are you guys each focusing on right now? Or let me ask you this. What are you most excited about over the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, I'm super, super focused on like distribution. So like, you know, we've got 16 million collective followers now. Obviously the goal is to scale that to 20, 30 million. But how do you get to those numbers even faster? You launch certain like subpages, right? And so like in my case, what everybody's going to see soon is Hard Knocks Women, where I'm going to go find the woman version of me to come in and interview women entrepreneurs and professionals. We'll build the businesses out and do that for 5, 10, 15 channels, right? So that way it's like you have like the media network, the property, like what Barstool did.
You told me about this a year ago.
100%.
Excited to see that come to fruition.
So it's like, you know, why did Barstool sell for 700 million? Why did Hot Ones sell for 80 million? Why did Daquan sell to Warner Bros for 84 million? Distribution.
Holy shit.
Yes, I know that. Daquan sold to fucking Warner Bros for over $80 million. And all it was is memes. You know what I mean? It's because it's distribution. So that's like a big focus of mine. doubling down, tripling down on like, you know, obviously the different kind of, you know, low ticket, high ticket, the content agency, you know, things are working. We've got great team members and whatnot, but I'm really focused on like the distribution, and then obviously just continued to go interview some more killers.
Nice. Yeah. What about you, bro?
Love that. So scale the media brand, continue to help more and more entrepreneurs. And I'm working on a medical tech startup right now.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I'm really big on like, I just have certain milestones I want to hit. I think credibility is keen, and like I've done a lot at a really young age, but I want to go sell a company for like 9 or 10 figures, and I know I can do it. I've scaled to 8 figures like really, really young. So I want to go build a 9 or 10 figure business and sell it or go public, and build a brand that's massive, massive, massive in all, you know, 6 continents.
I assume it's not even about the money for you. It's just the game. You're like, I wanna beat the game, essentially.
Yeah.
There's nothing like selling a company for $1 billion. You know, like that is something. Like there's only, you know, a couple hundred people that have ever done something like that, maybe less.
Yeah,
So.
I just want to help more people. You know, it's just like and that's why I keep going back to that. Is like we make content every day, and sometimes like you're so obsessed with numbers that you forget like that 80,000 views is like a massive sellout stadium. Yeah. And that's like a normal video. And so
your perception just like a virality like changes. Like I tell people all the time, like I haven't posted a video on Instagram since April 2024 that has under 1 million views. So like if I'm not kidding you. You can look it up. Go to the School of Hard Knocks. Yeah. The last video I posted that has under 1 million views is April 2024. But so that's my thing, is like if I get 1 million views on a video, like that's a really bad video for me. So but your perception changes. Like you said, dude, even 10,000 people's like this is where I put it for people, right? So I don't know about you guys, but like my high school my high school class was like 500 people. How many people were you guys in your high school class?
100.
100? So you had a small
400 people in my whole high school. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, private school or
little tiny town? Maybe 13,000 people in the town.
Total school is like 2,000, so 500
class, right?
Yeah.
But did you ever have like a pep rally?
Packed.
Think about like the auditorium with 2,000 people. It's a lot of people.
Tons.
You know what I mean?
You so like 1,000 times that if you're getting.
So when you think about that, it really does put like a lot into perspective for you. That like, man, there's a lot of people, you know, that you can reach in that short period of time.
And our opportunities is why the next 3 years is so important. Is everything's about to change with AI. Now they have dubbing. You can convert it, but Spotify, they already said that they're pretty close to it once the AI tech's there, that if they listen to my podcast, they could listen to perfect Arabic. When my voice, I'm speaking Arabic, or I'm speaking Spanish. So it automatically will dub the video to the language that the listener. So you'll eventually hear School of Hard Knocks interviews in Arabic and in Chinese,
that'd be crazy,
in Japanese, and it'll be dubbed. Like they already have it for the captions. But then your audience, I mean, we think about America, right? That's 350, 400 million people. But you got 8 billion people. That's less than 5% of the population. So and another thing is that the rest of the world is developing so quickly. You see what's happening in the Middle East. India will be like a China.
Those are
by
open
2050.
markets.
Yeah. 25 years, that'll be a $20-30 trillion market. And then Africa will be 2050 to 2100. That's when it'll develop.
And it's crazy because not only do those countries have a significantly larger population than the US, but there's significantly less competition.
Yes.
So
and
huge
they love
opportunity.
Americans because of the movies and everything. They're like, this guy looks like a guy in the movies, you know, like quarterback in high school or something, you know?
Grant really got me. The last thing I'll say is Grant got me so fired up the other day when we got dinner because he said something that I almost want to get it like tattooed on me.
Damn.
I have it written on a whiteboard right by my bed. It says, wake up and win. And then it says your quote. I don't want to botch it, but you said, the only way for my business to 10x is for me to 10x.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and the way you phrased it was very simple. It made sense. You go, okay, well, the people are out there. The problem exists. It's just about who's going to be the guy that can assemble the team to come up with a solution. I don't even necessarily have to come up with, you know, a teleportation machine. I just have to figure out the most expensive problem in the world, or a really expensive problem, and then I have to find the right people that can make it happen. Right? It's all about people at the end of the day. The people have the problems, the people have the solutions. And what you said really hit hard. It was like, how can I expect my business to 10x if I don't 10x? How can I expect my relationships to 10x or my life to 10x or my content to 10x if I don't 10x? So it's just a constant reminder of like, I have to get better if I want better results. People think it's just going to happen with time. No.
Think about how many billion-dollar deals are happening right now, like all over the world. So there's an unlimited amount of deals. There's an unlimited amount of audience. There's an unlimited amount of opportunities. The question is, do you have the vessel to be able to hold that?
Yeah.
And so that's what's happened. Like he's built this brand. I'm to 500,000 a month is a lot, but it's like nothing in comparison to the true value of your business. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to see in the next like 2-3 years, you'll be doing 3, 4, 5 million a month, 10, maybe 10 million a month. And that will be in the true market size, but y'all are building something that can actually sustain and hold that. Yeah. And so it's the transformation that you have to seek. As we grow as men and as business people and everything like that, we will start to capture what already exists around us.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to change. We have to change.
And I hope everyone listening and watching this right now can see and hear and feel like how passionate us three are. We're just playing the game, dude. Tyler, my buddy TJR, made a video yesterday. He was saying all these people see me with like nice cars and, they're like, I want to trade because I want to make money and I want to have nice cars. He's like, bro, you're going to lose. It's not going to happen for you. You have to want to trade because you like trading. You like the charts. You like that quick action, right? Anyone I know that started a business because like when people DM me, hey, I want to start a business so I can make money. Bro, you're not going to make money for years, bro. You're going to make less than all of your friends. And they're going to be working way less than you. They're going to be taking way less risk. They're not going to be getting shit talked. You have to do it for the love of it. Cause like it's like playing, like building a business, growing a channel, growing a page, starting a personal brand. It's like, it's a game. It's like playing a video game. And what happens when you reach level 100? What do? You fucking restart your character on a harder difficulty. So you have to have this love for the game, I think, if you really want to, go as far as fast as possible. And with that, it's always a pleasure fucking talking with you guys. Like, yeah. I think that's also one of the coolest parts of playing the game is you just meet other players and then you get more inspired and you're like, damn, this guy's doing way more than me. I gotta fucking pick it up, or he has this new perspective that can help me. So yeah, dude, it's sweet having you guys on. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna link both of their pages and stuff below. And I got to do this because I'm about to close it, but I have 2 spots left in this cohort for Outliers before I close it until the end of the year. Once again, it's pretty much just monsters our age, anywhere from, I think the youngest guy is 19 to 51. Everyone's doing millions, if not tens of millions. Essentially, it's my friend group all in a big Slack group chat together. We travel together. And then a couple of months ago, I was like, why don't we open it up to any other young killers out there who want to apply and try and get in? So yeah, thank you guys for watching and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.